All right, everybody. Dr. Imfan Akpan here, and like I said, this is a great time to be alive. I mean, we've got so much going on. GPT 5.4, so OpenAI just recently released a new model. Let's hear about it. Let's talk about it. Let's go through it. I want to hear what you think about it. So let's take a look.
4 is here, and we may actually have a new best model on the planet. I've been using it for the past week. I got early access, and yes, it is an incredible model. And what OpenAI did to get to 5.4 feels very similar to what Anthropic did to get to Opus 4.6, and they're all heading in the same direction. These are models built for real world knowledge work. These are models built for agentic tasks. And I'm going to tell you everything about it. I got a couple demos I want to show off to you. And this just might be my new main model in OpenClaw. And let me explain why.
So we are moving into a different paradigm with these models. And you want to think about, he is talking about OpenClaw. Since Gemini has been banning the usage of OpenClaw, and the same thing with Claude.
So we have Opus 4.6, and it is a good model. What makes it so good is that it is not only a world model, but it is incredibly good at writing code. So we have world knowledge, we have logic and reasoning, we have a great personality. And yes, the personality really does matter, especially if you're plugging it into your personal AI assistant, aka OpenClaw. And of course, it's incredibly good at code. It's incredibly good at agent work. It's great at browser use. It's great at computer use. And all of these things, it is very, very good at. But OpenAI did not have that. GPT 5.2 was good at a lot of things. And Codex was really good at coding, but they were separate models. And if you wanted to use one for both use cases, you really couldn't. You had to choose one or the other for the appropriate use case. So we had coding over here. That is what GPT 5.3 Codex was all about. And it was really good at coding. But if you wanted a personality, if you wanted writing and creativity, you went to 5.2. But remember, Opus had all of those things built into a single model. And that is where GPT 5.4 comes in. So they basically said, okay, 5.2 and GPT 5.3 Codex, go ahead, have a baby, and we're going to call it GPT 5.4. And this is their new frontier flagship everything model. It is good at coding. It has a personality. It's good at creative writing. It's good at tool calling. It's good at agentic use cases. You can plug it in as your main model in OpenClaw. GPT 5.4 has everything. And not only that, they made it faster. They made it more token efficient, all of this baked into a single model that can serve many use cases now. And remember when Sonnet 4.6 came out and I said this was specific?
Now, when he said token efficient, that means it doesn't cost as much money to run. So it doesn't use as many input output. The cost isn't as much as other models for the input and output tokens.
Built to serve knowledge workers. Well, that's kind of what 5.4 is now. It is incredibly good at things that you would maybe do with Claude Cowork, reading PDF documents, creating PowerPoints, searching the web, using the browser, using the computer. All of these things can now be done with 5.4 really well. And here's the thing. Here's that last part that the Claude family of models now had that the OpenAI models did not. We had 1 million tokens of context. Great. But now, so does GPT 5.4. And that is huge. Now, it's not cheap to use all this. but I'll get to that in a moment. All right, so two models were dropped. We have 5.4 Thinking and 5.4 Pro, and they put together a nice chart so we can compare the benchmarks against obviously the older OpenAI models, but also for the first time in a while, they actually included Anthropic and Google models. So here we go. OS world, this is computer use. We have 75% for GPT 5.4 Thinking as compared to 74% GPT 5.3 Codex, so a tiny bump. And look over here, Opus 4.6, 72.7. We have SweBench Pro, 57.7% on Thinking. We have 56.8. So it is actually getting a better score than the Codex specific model, and no score for Opus, but we have a 54.2 for Gemini 3.1 Pro. Now, it kind of sucks. These companies are kind of picking and choosing which benchmarks they're running against, because then it makes it very difficult to compare them. All right, next we have GDP-Val, which is OpenAI's own benchmark measuring real world knowledge work. So the ability for these models to actually complete real knowledge work, things that will actually move the GDP of the country. Now, even though it is OpenAI's own benchmark, other companies do use it and run their models against it. So what do we see? Well, we have an 83% for GPT 5.4 Thinking, which is interesting because GPT 5.4 Pro, which is technically the smarter model and much more expensive, actually gets a lower score. Now look at this versus 5.3 Codex, it is 13 points higher. And on Opus 4.6, which scored a 78, it is 5 points higher than that. It also dominated at frontier math as well. And by the way, if you want to test the latest models and use it in an OpenClaw-like environment, but don't want to worry about all the headache of setting up OpenClaw yourself, go check out the sponsor of today's video, Lindy. I know the entire world is talking about OpenClaw, but OpenClaw is not yet for the entire world. It still takes a ton of hand-holding, a ton of security mindfulness, and personally, I spent 5 billion tokens so far just getting it to a really good place. So there has to be a better solution for everyone. And that is where the sponsor of today's video comes in, Lindy. They've been a great partner, so I'm excited to tell you about them. If you've been running your own agents, you know the drill. Whether you're spending $600 on your own Mac Mini, hundreds of dollars in token costs every month, or constantly having to handhold them, it can be easier. And Lindy just eliminated all of that. But this isn't just for casual users. This is for hardcore automations as well. Lindy has built a personal AI assistant for people running complex workflows. It meets you wherever you are: iMessage, email, Slack, Notion, Gmail, Google Drive, and it integrates with over 100 apps and learns the way you like to work. Check out Lindy's AI assistant. I'll drop a link down below. They've been a fantastic partner, so go check them out. It helps the channel when you let them know I sent you. Now, back to the video. So according to the blog post, GPT 5.4 brings together the best of our recent advances in reasoning, coding, and agentic workflows into a single frontier model. So just like I said, it incorporates the industry-leading coding capabilities of 5.3 Codex while also improving how the model works across tools, software environments, and professional tasks involving spreadsheets, presentations, and documents. Also, GPT 5.4 Thinking can now provide an upfront plan of its thinking. So it's not just going to start and go. One of the most useful features in something like Cursor is the fact that you can plan first. And it just allows you to guide the model rather than burning all those tokens, actually building the thing and potentially going in the wrong direction. You can turn on the little plan feature right here, and it will plan instead of build. And now that's built into ChatGPT. So as I said, it's really good at computer use, and it also has incredible vision capabilities. And obviously those two things go hand in hand. So it's excellent at writing code to operate computers via libraries like Playwright, as well as issuing mouse and keyboard commands in response to screenshots. And so look at this OS World verified benchmark. And OS World is basically giving these models an operating system in which they can operate them. So on the x-axis, we have the number of tool yields, the tool calls, and on the y-axis.
So I want you to think about right now where we are. So it's March. We've got ChatGPT 5.4. We're still talking about OpenClaw. So let's try to think about where all of this is going. So this is a very good model for agentic use. So we're seeing and hearing more and more about agents, agentic use, this autonomy. This is where things are going, where more and more the models are able to definitely answer questions, but they're also able to do more for you, do more tasks, and get better at those tasks. So I'd like to hear what you think about this. Has anybody used 5.4? How well is it working for you compared to Claude Opus? Love to hear your thoughts. Now make sure you like and subscribe on the video, and